What's up guys, welcome back to another video. I hope you're all doing well. This video I'm going to cover a complete tutorial on how to PSN activate your PS4 on all firmwares. And when I say all firmware guys, I mean all jailbreakable firmwares. So that's 5.05, 6.72, 7.XX, all the way up to 7.55. And also covering the recent web activation method. So there are multiple different ways to go ahead and PSN activate your PS4 guys, and I'm going to go and cover each and every way possible. That is with your own PSN ID if you have one, generate a PSN ID if you don't have one, and I'm going to show you that in detail. I know I've had previous videos specific to different firmwares guys, so this one is going to be a complete master PSN tutorial. So guys, I will be breaking this video apart into different sections based on different firmwares and different methods and stuff like that, so you can go ahead and navigate yourself to the particular section that applies to you, and you can go ahead and make sure you utilize those particular areas. So let's go straight into it, and I'm going to go and start covering them one by one. Alright guys, so before we proceed, I want to quickly show you the difference between being PSN activated and using a local profile like most of us do. And I want to clear a few things out over here guys. So as you can see right now, I'm on my PS4. I do have two different accounts over here. One is Sam, the other is Daniel, but you can see a difference over here. Sam is PSN activated, but Daniel is not. And the one main things you can actually make the difference is you can see Sam is in italics and Daniel is not in italics. And when you go to Sam, you also have something called the options menu at the bottom. If you hit options, you can choose to log in online or appear offline, while with Daniel, which is not PSN activated, you can't actually do that. Now another thing we can actually do with PSN activation, so I'm going to log in here. So please do note I am not jailbroken at the moment. So just to make sure, I'm going to go down to settings. I'm going to scroll all the way down, and if you see over here guys, I am not jailbroken right now. But even though I'm not jailbroken, of course I can't run any fake Pkgs. But check this out. If I go to settings, I would now be able to access the application save data management. I can click this, and now I can see, I can actually see the game saves I have over here. I have my USB plugged in, so you can actually see and access all of these things. And I can also back up my games, so I'm copy the system storage from my USB. So I do have all these games backed up, and it's in my USB right now. Check it out guys. All these game saves actually backed up in the USB. I can go and restore it. In case something happens with my PS4, I don't have to lose all my game saves. So that's one thing you can do. And the next thing we can do is remote play connections. I can enable remote play. I can go for adding a device. I can go and proceed with remote play altogether. Now, so what I'm going to do now guys, I'm actually going to log out of this, and I'm going to go to a non-PSN activated account, still not being jailbroken of course. So let's go to Daniel this time. Okay, so of course I'm still not jailbroken. If I go to settings here, as you can see, I am not jailbroken. But however, this time I go down to application save data management and try to open this up. If you want to use the save data to copy another PS4, you must update the system software to the latest version. So it does not allow you to use it. You see? Update later and you back out. Likewise, if you want to see what's in the USB storage, you want to see if you want to restore some games, you click over here and it's asking you to update your software. And if I click update now, of course, that's going to go down the dark path and updating your PS4 to the latest version and goodbye jailbreak, or click update later and you're back out again. So guys, this is one of the main things you can actually do with PSN activation. If I go to remote play as well, you need to sign into PSN network to use this network feature. So it does not allow you to do any of these things because you're not PSN activated. However guys, I know a lot of people keep on commenting and asking me this question. Just because you're PSN activated, does that mean you can go online and play PSN games? No, you cannot. So it has nothing to do with going online or any of that stuff, guys. It's only to unlock these particular features, and that's about it. Alright, so now that we're clear about this, let's move on, and I'm going to go and address these one by one for all different firmwares. The steps are pretty clear, guys, and all we need to do is, of course, we need to be jailbroken first. So I'm on 7.55 right now, so I'm going to go ahead and run the jailbreak I have cached over here, which is Nightking host. And this is probably an older version. I'm sure there's newer versions right now, and I'm going to go and update them, but I'm running GoldHEN 7.55B. So let's just see how long it's going to take. Real-time video right now, so I'm not going to skip or do any of that stuff. Just going to fast forward it. There we go guys, you're all set. Launching payload. And welcome to GoldHEN version 1.1 beta 3 loaded. And we also got the FTP listening over there in case you're interested. So guys, moving on to the next important bit is regarding your PSN ID. So you might be either of two different categories. One, someone who already has a PSN account with Sony, maybe from a previous account that you've used before you were jailbroken, or you might be someone who already has another PS4, which is one jailbroken and one non-jailbroken. You already have a PSN ID. So you might be someone who already with the PSN ID, and I'm going to show you how you can retrieve that and use that as your PSN activation for your account or locally. Or if you're someone who does not have a PSN ID, you do not have an account with Sony and you don't really care about it, you just want to back up your games and keep it safe, so you can actually generate a PSN ID, and I'm going to show you how to generate a PSN ID as well. Alright guys, so the first scenario is if you have an account with PlayStation, but you do not know how your PSN ID and you actually have a PS4 that is signed in to your PSN ID. For instance, if you have a jailbroken PS4 and you have a normal PS4 and you have your account already signed in to your normal PS4, this is the way you can go and extract it from there. So we're going to go and see that. So I do have two different PS4s. I do have my PS4 Fat that is actually jailbroken, and I also have a PS4 Pro that is actually on the latest firmware with my official PSN ID signed in. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into that particular PS4 right now, and I'm going to show you how you can retrieve it. So guys, just before we do that, this is my USB pen drive that I'm going to stick into the PS4. If I open this up right now, and I do see my PS4 folder, and open this up, this is my save data. So right now I do have my jailbroken PS4. This is a generated ID that I already have. So I have all my games that I initially showed you in the beginning of the video. All of the games that have been backed up are in this particular PSN ID. So this is actually the PSN ID. This is how Sony actually saves in. The game backups are done in such a way that the folder is named after the PSN ID. So as you can see, this is the before I actually do what I have to do. So I'm just showing you this before I actually do it. So now I'm going to go jump into my PS4 Pro, which is the official one. So I'm going to just eject this pen drive and I'm going to stick it in the PS4 Pro, and we're going to jump into the PS4 Pro. Alright guys, so now I'm in my PS4 Pro. This is the official one. This is my account that I have here in the official PS4. So I'm going to go and log into my account. And as you can see guys, I do have my pen drive actually plugged in, the one I just showed you a second ago, with the backed up games from the jailbroken PS4. So if I actually go here right now and I go to settings, I go down to application save data management, and I save data on the USB storage device, and I click on copy system storage. I choose the Cruiser Blade, but as you can see, it says there's no saved data because the PSN ID that I have in my pen drive is not the same as my official one. So however, this is the way you're actually going to go ahead and get the PSN ID, guys. All you got to do, guys, is just back up one of your game saves into the pen drive and you'll be able to extract your PSN ID. So simple as that. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go back up one of the games. So I'm going to go down to application save data management and click on save data in the system storage. Once I click this, and I want to copy it to the USB storage device. Okay, here we go. Alright, so I do have these many game saves in this particular PS4. So for example, I'm just going to go for Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. I'm going to go ahead and click this, and I'm going to go ahead and copy it to the pen drive. That's about it, guys. So once you actually back up any one of your game saves, it is now going to go ahead and create a particular folder, and I'm going to show you that on the PC. So let's go ahead and switch back into the PC now. Alright, so jumping back into the system right now, I'm going to open back my USB pen drive that was plugged into the PS4 Pro, open this up. So as you can see now, if I open my PS4 folder, I have my saved data, but now I do have two different accounts, two different folders compared to what I had before. So this is my Jailbreaking PS4 generated PSN ID. So this is my official PSN ID that I just backed up, guys. If you remember, it was just one game that I backed up. And as you can see, this is the game title. But however, guys, what you see here is the PSN ID. So you can go ahead and copy this up. So guys, that's how you retrieve your PSN ID if you already have your PSN account signed into a PS4 that you presently own. Or else if you do have a friend who does have a PS4, you can go ahead and sign into their particular PS4, just do a backup of a game save, and then you'll be able to have this particular folder here with your PSN ID. So this is one way to retrieve it, guys. So moving on to retrieving it, if you, in case you do not have a PSN account signed into a PS4, that you will have to find it out your own self. So I'm going to go and show you that right about now. So this scenario over here, guys, is for people who already have a PlayStation account, already have a PSN ID, but do not know how to find it because you don't have a PS4 signed in order to go ahead and extract your PSN ID like I showed you the previous method. So in case you do not have your PSN ID and you already have a PlayStation account, guys, go ahead and follow this particular method. It's pretty simple and it's very straightforward. In case you do not have a PSN ID, you do not have a PlayStation account whatsoever, so you can always go ahead and sign up for one right on PlayStation.com and then follow this method as well. So you need to go ahead and do this in Google Chrome, and it has to be specifically to Google Chrome, and just right click here, go to inspect. You can see this one over here, click on inspect, and once you click on inspect, guys, you should be able to see this little entire section opening up on the right side. If it's too compressed in, go ahead and drag it out so it makes it easy for you to see more data. Make sure it's at least half the screen. So go ahead and click on network, and now once you click on network, guys, so what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and sign into your account. And click on sign in. You should be able to see a lot of files loading up on the right side. Don't worry about it. Okay, so you should be able to see the sign in over here. So guys who do not have an account, you can already sign. You can sign up for one and then follow these steps. So as mentioned, this is my account right here. I'm gonna click on next, and I'm gonna put in my password. Okay. All right. So once you go in and sign in, you should be able to see a lot of files opening on the right side. As mentioned, don't worry about it, and it's going to redirect you to the main PlayStation.com website again. Okay, here we are. I'm signed in, as you can see. That's me, signed into PlayStation.com. But now I need to go ahead and find out my particular PSN ID, which is the whole aim of this one over here. So guys, if you look on the right side here, all you got to do, go to filter and type down get profile. So when you type down get profile, you should be able to see this one file showing up. Click on that, and it might be compressed, or it could be open. So just go ahead and click on this, and there it is, guys. You could be able to see now account ID is right there. This is my account ID. However, this is not the entire actual PSN ID's format. It is actually a raw decimal. We need to go and convert to a hexadecimal in order to get the actual PSN ID. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this, and I'm going to open up a hexadecimal converter. I usually just use this. I'm going to leave this link in the description, guys, not a problem. Make sure to choose this from decimal to hexadecimal. So I'm going to paste whatever I just copied. That's my decimal number over here, and then click on convert. So this, what you can see here in hexasign 2's complement, this, guys, is my actual PSN ID. That's my official PSN ID right over here. So now this is how I get my PSN ID from the website. It's pretty straightforward, guys. All you have to do is open up the developers tools on the right side, be on a network, sign in at the same time, let the things load up, type get profile, and you should be able to get these information over here. So in case this does not work for you, there is another method to do it, and that is through using a Python script. Alright guys, so here's the other method in order to go and extract your PSN ID from your PlayStation account. However, this requires a Python script, and I'm going to go ahead and leave this particular file in the description. I've actually compiled it for you, and I'm going to keep it in the description, guys. You'll be able to download it and use it right off. But however, you need to go ahead and have Python. So guys, I'm going to leave this link as well in the description. You need to go ahead and download Python and install it on your computer. So if you look over here, I already have Python installed. As you can see, I already have Python installed over here. So once you install Python and once you're all good to go, and that's when you can go ahead and actually run this script, or else you will not be able to run it. So ensure to go ahead and download Python first, and once you download and install Python, then we can go and move on to this particular steps. So guys, we need to go and run this in the command prompt. In order to run the command prompt, the easiest way, just click on the folder icon right over here, and right in the beginning, just type down cmd space and hit enter. So that should open command prompt in the same particular folder where this particular script is. That is C user Sam Daniel desktop Python PSN finder, which is where I have it right over here. So we need to run this particular script, guys. You can either type it down to the same way it is, or you can just go ahead and copy the file name, which will be more accurate, and .py. That is the Python script. So once you type this down and hit enter, there you go. It's going to give you an entire complicated link over here, guys. So this link is where you'll have to just copy this particular link. Just copy this entire link over here. Once you copy it, okay, I think I hit that twice, so it actually kind of broke the command. Not a problem, don't worry about it. And I already have it copy it over here. So I'm going to go and paste it in the URL. And it should redirect you to Sony's sign-in page over here. So all you got to do, guys, just go ahead and sign in, just like we did the last time. And I'm going to sign in as well. And once you click on sign in, it should go and redirect you, and it should actually say redirect. Wait for it. Okay, there you go. It says redirect. So if it says redirect, you're successful, and you should be able to see a specific URL over here. Just make sure you copy this URL. Let's go back to the script, and as you can see, I already broke this thing, so I'm gonna go back again. Just hit the up arrow, and that should go ahead and pull up the last typed command and click enter. So it should give you the same link again. Just this time, go ahead and paste the link we copied. So once you paste that link, hit enter, and there you go, guys. Simple as it is, shows your online ID and your user ID. There you go. That is now my user ID that we just extracted from the previous method from the Chrome DevTools. But here we go again, so you can just copy this one over here. And as usual, guys, you need to go ahead and I'm going to reset this. We need to enter it over here and then convert it, and there you go. So that's how you get your PSN ID, guys, while using a Python script. In case you're not able to extract it from the web browser, the Chrome DevTools, you should be able to get this done through this particular method. So now that you have your PSN IDs, guys, I'm going to cover one more scenario on how to generate your own PSN ID. In case you don't have an official one, you can create your own one over here, and I'm going to go ahead and cover that right now. Alright, guys, if you don't actually have an official PSN ID or an account, and you just want to generate one just for you to go ahead and back up your save games, etc. So you can go ahead and use this one here. It's much simpler than the previous method I showed in my previous videos, where you use another software to download it, install it, and then do the whole thing, move it to Notepad, and so on and so forth. So guys, this is very simple here. I'm going to leave this link in the description as well. So all you got to do is, how many results do you want? You can use 5, whatever you want. I just want one account. I just need one hexadecimal number here, so I'm going to go ahead and change the digits to 16, and then as simple as that, I just click on generate hex, and that's about it, guys. You already have a hexadecimal number that's accepted by the PS4, and it's going to go ahead and let you activate your PS4 with this particular account. And you can go ahead and generate as many as you want, and you can just use any one of these things and it should work perfectly fine. So guys, now that we've been through all of the different scenarios to go ahead and get your PSN account, your PSN account ID through the official method or your official account or generating a fake one. So now that you already have these things, we're going to move on now in how to go ahead and actually inject this onto your PS4 offline. Alright, so let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go and fire up my PS4 and connect it over here. So guys, I'm going to jump into the PS4 right now, and I'm going to go log into my SAM account. And right now, I'm actually jailbroken right now. So if I look over here, as you can see here, if I go down to settings, all the way down here, so I am I'm actually jailbroken right now. However, guys, in order for this injection to happen, you need to run the PS4 debug option. So I'm going to go load up this particular host that I'm using right now. So you need to go ahead and load up PS4 debug, which is very important for this particular injection. So go ahead and click on PS4 debug and let that load out as well. Alright guys, as you can see, PS4 debug is now loaded. So once you have PS4 debug loaded, the next thing you really need is your PS4's IP address. You got to make sure that you are on the same network as on the PS4 as well as the PC. So if you go over here to network, you'll be able to find that out. For the IP address, I normally go to system and the system information, and as you can see, guys, that is my IP address, 192.168.1.64. So let's hop onto the system right now. So guys, there is specific software for every firmware, and it's not the same for every firmware. So for example, if you look over here, this is the software for 6.72 only. Now they all look the same, guys, but then you need to make sure that it is specifically for your particular firmware, and I'm going to link that in the description very carefully, specifically to that particular firmware. Now if you look over here, guys, so this is for 6.72 as I mentioned, but for 5.05, for 7.02, and for the other two, so 5.05, 7.02, 7.55, and 6.72. However, guys, the remaining three do not have it mentioned over here with which firmware it belongs to. So be very careful on which one you use, guys, because that's very important. So I'm going to link that as mentioned, specifically with your particular firmware. So guys, make sure you utilize it according to that. So if you look over here, as I've downloaded the 7.55 version over here, if you open this up, this is 7.55 version over here, guys. So I'm going to demonstrate using the 7.55 version, and you can use like the same steps because everything looks just the same and works just the same. So as you can see right now, it is on and running, and it says disconnected. Enter your PS4 IP address and click connect. So I'm going to type down my IP address. 192.168.1.64 was my IP address, and then I click on connect. Once you click on connect, as you can see here guys, connected to the IP address of my PS4, and click get users. So remember, I do have two users, one is Sam and the other one is Daniel. So I'm going to click on get users. There you go, there's two users over here, and it's automatically going to fill it in. So guys, as you can see, Sam is already PSN activated. So this is the PSN ID activated for my account, that's Sam. But Daniel is basically all zeros, which means it's not PSN activated. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to officially activate Daniel with my official account ID. So guys, you remember how I went and got my extracted my PSN ID from this PlayStation Store or using the Python script, and I'm going to go and get that over here, and I'm going to paste it right over here. So there you go guys, I'm actually going to go ahead and paste in my PSN ID. This is the one that's my official PSN ID. That's the one I actually use to sign into PlayStation.com. And this is just a generated one I previously used. So this is my official ID guys. So all you have to do in order to go ahead and activate this. So remember, when I tried to log into my account, one was in italics and Daniel was not. So however, now I'm going to go ahead and set this in. And this is going to write it in my Daniel account. So I'm going to click on set ID and activate. So I'm going to click this. Okay, it says account ID set and activated. So click get users to verify it was written properly. So I'm going to click on get users. There you go. It looks like it's still the same. If I click get users and I did not do it properly, it should be back to all zeros. So guys, if you want to unactivate or deactivate your PSN account, all you got to do is just make it into all zeros and you should be good to go. Just the same amount of numbers. Just make sure you make it 0. And guys, that's how you deactivate your PSN account. So in case anyone's wondering. So let's hop back onto the PS4 and have a look at what's going on over there. So guys, remember when you do a PSN activate, so guys, sometimes you will not see any changes yet unless you actually restart your PS4. So you might have to restart your PS4. Okay, so guys, as you can see now, both the accounts are now italics. So you can see Sam's in italics and Daniel's also in italics. And now you also have the options menu for Daniel. As you can see here, appear offline or appear online. So now even Daniel is PSN activated. So if I go to Daniel now, as you remember in the beginning of the video, I was not able to go to application save data management, etc. If I go now, application save data management, I go for save data on the USB device, copy system storage, I choose the USB drive. However, there's no save data because the GameSaves that's in the USB drive right now is for the other account and not for this one Daniel account. So this is how what I mentioned guys, your PSN ID should match with the game that you've actually backed up. So if I'm going to log out of my PS4 on this one, and I'm going to go to the Sam's account. So I'm going to go to the Sam's account now. And now if I go to settings, all the way down to application save data management, again go to the same USB device. Now as you can see, there's a lot of game saves already in the USB device, but all these game saves are for this specific PSN ID. Alright guys, so here's a quick trick for you over here. So if you do have two different accounts and most of your game saves are in account number 1, for instance, this is Sam's, the first account, Sam. And if you have all your games and all your game saves all in Sam, but now you want to go ahead and transfer to Daniel. So what you can do is you can go ahead and back it up with this particular PSN ID. If I go and back it up right now, it'll be saved under this PSN ID. And once I'm done with this and once I back up everything that I want to back up, then what I can simply do, I can just go ahead and cut this from here. I'm going to just paste it over here just for the sake of it. And I can go ahead and swap the PSN IDs just like this, guys. And once I swap it and I set ID, it's going to then activate this for this particular account. And then when you go ahead and plug in your USB drive with all the game saves under this particular PSN ID, you can go ahead and start restoring the games now in this account. And that's how we can go ahead and swap games between profiles, guys. And if you have another PS4 just jailbroken and you want to go ahead and swap your game files from one PS4 to the other one, you can follow the same method here, guys. Just make sure you have the same PSN ID. Just go ahead to the other PS4 and paste it in that particular user ID and click on set ID. And then you'll be able to restore the games that you have backed up. That's just a quick tip over there, guys. Let's moving on. As mentioned, guys, in the little tip, if you want to go ahead and make sure you want to restore these game saves in the other Daniel account, you just have to swap the PSN IDs and you should be good to go in order to do that. Alright guys, so now we've seen all of these different methods that we actually looked into PSN activating your PS4. This method is actually the most recent method. It is basically activating your PSN account or your account on your PS4 without even needing a system or a tool to inject your PSN ID or any of that stuff. So I'm running a 7.55 firmware, guys, so I'm not on 6.72 or 7.02 in order to test this out for those firmwares. In fact, it hasn't been tested too well. So but anyway, we're gonna go ahead and create a new user just to go ahead and test it out, because Sam is activated, Daniel is also activated as per the tutorial. So now we're gonna create a new user, and let me just create one right now. Let's skip this. Okay, so I'm just gonna call it WebAct. Let's call it WebAct for web activation. Okay, let's confirm that. Cool, we are done. Alright guys, so I just fired up SG's actual website over here for the PS4 web activator right here, and as you can see here, this is the PS4 offline account activator web version, and this is for 6.72, 7.02, and the 7.xx firmwares. However, 6.72 is striked out because strike through means not tested. So of course I can't test this or this, but I can go ahead and test this because the account I'm presently on is not activated. So I'm gonna click this, and let's see what happens. Okay, looks like it's going through on the second attempt. Okay, so guys, we're getting a message now, waiting for clients. Alright guys, so check this out. So now that you actually run the payload, it actually gets the entire software that we've seen on Windows right onto your web right over here. So click on the username to generate a random ID. So I want to go ahead and generate a random ID. I can just click on WebAct. There you go. It randomly generates hexadecimal in order for you to go ahead and set and activate. This is actually really cool, and you can click on this multiple times in order to keep generating a new one, which will obviously work with the PS4. So guys, if you don't actually have a PSN account or an ID and you just want to activate your PS4, this would be the most proper method. So go ahead and click on set ID and activate. I'm going to go and test this out. PSN ID is set successfully. That's great. So I'm going to go ahead and log out now, and most probably I should restart the PS4 in order to make sure it works successfully. So I'm just going to log out for a second. Let's see if it's now turned to italics. Oh yes, it did. There you go, guys. It actually turned to italics, so now it's actually PSN activated. I do not have a pen drive plugged in right now, but I can just go. Let me see if the remote play is actually working, that I can access the menu. There you go. It doesn't work because you need to go ahead and restart your PS4 once. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to quickly restart the PS4, and I'm going to come right back. Sorry guys, I just restarted the PS4. I'm getting back into the PS4. So as you can see, it is still activated. I'm going to jump in now. And as I mentioned, guys, you need to restart your PS4 at least once in order for it to work. So now the last time I tried to access remote play, it didn't work. Let me go and try it now, and there you go. Just like that, it now works. So guys, now it's PSN activated, and it does have a random ID. So you can go ahead and use this method as well, which is super easy in order for you, instead of, you don't need a computer, you don't need to go ahead and generate or go for the website to actually generate and all that stuff. So guys, this is how you go ahead and activate your user with a PSN ID right on the web. Alright, so now that we've seen all of that, guys, I want to quickly mention a few pointers over here. Point number one, guys, when you go ahead and try to go ahead and restore or backup game saves, you will not be able to restore a game save from a higher version to a lower version. You'd only be able to go ahead and restore game saves from a lower version to a higher version. For example, my PS4 is on 7.55, the jailbroken one, and my official one is on 8.03. So I can go ahead and back up games from my 7.55 jailbroken PS4 and restore them on my 8.03 PS4 Pro. But however, I can't go ahead and back up from official PS4 Pro 8.03 firmware and restore them on my 7.55. It just does not work. Sony does not allow that to happen because we're using the PSN activated method. So that is something you need to note, guys. You can only go from a lower firmware to a higher firmware and not vice versa. Alright guys, so that's about it for this particular video. I know this video is pretty long, guys, because I'm trying to cover different scenarios and different methods of doing this. So I hope you found this video helpful, guys, and if you did, go ahead and drop it a like, drop it a subscribe, and drop me a comment. Let me know what you think about this particular thing, if you're gonna go ahead and get your PSN activated and how the process went. And guys, I know the stability of 7.55 has been changing a lot. There's been a lot of updates with all the hosts, guys, and I've been delaying my comparison video for quite some time now, and I think I'll be probably doing that just shortly after this. Alright guys, well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. You guys have fun, take care, and cheers. Happy gaming, guys.